Planning on traveling this summer? Make saving at the pump part of your plans with 2 times the fuel points from Harris Teeter. It's easy. Download your eVic coupon, and for every $1 you spend with your Vic card, you'll get 2 fuel points. That's up to $1 per gallon on quality fuel at participating BP and Harris Teeter fuel centers. Download your eVic coupon today and save money at the pump all summer long with eVic and Harris Teeter fuel points.
This is Thunderhead Pictures Podcast, episode 10. Well, today's episode, we're just going to read the biography of John Newton, the person that actually wrote the song Amazing Grace. Actually, it was done in a poem format first, and then somebody put it to a song. So here's what the Rehabilitation Project's website says. John Newton, born in 1725 and died in 1807. The former slaver and preacher. John Newton was an Anglican clergyman and former slave shipmaster. It took him a long time to speak out against the slave trade, but he had influence on many young evangelistic Christians, particularly Wilberforce. At just 11 years old, Newton went to sea with his father. In 1743, he was on his way to a position as a slave master on a plantation in Jamaica when he was pressed into naval service. He became a midshipman, but after demotion for trying to desert, he requested an exchange to a slave ship bound for West Africa. Eventually, he reached the coast of Sierra Leone, where he became the servant of an abusive slave trader. In 1748, he was rescued by a sea captain and returned to England. During a storm when it was thought the ship might sink, he prayed for deliverance. This experience began his conversion to evangelical Christianity. Later, whilst aboard the slave vessel bound for the West Indies, he became ill with a violent fever and asked for God's mercy. An experience he claimed was the turning point in his life. Despite this, he continued to participate in the slave trade. In 1750, he made a further voyage as a master of the slave ship Duke of Anglesey, and 2 voyages on the African. He admitted that he was as ruthless businessman and a unfeeling observer of the Africans he traded. Slave revolts on board ship were frequent. Newton mounted guns and muskets on the decks aimed at the slaves' quarters. Slaves were lashed and put in thumb screws to keep them quiet. In 1754, after a serious illness, he gave up seafaring altogether. In 1757, he applied for the Anglican priesthood. It was 7 years before he was accepted. On 17th June 1764, he finally became a priest at Alnilly and Buckinghamshire. He became well known as for his pastoral care and respected by both Anglicans and non-conformists. He collaborated with William Cowper to produce a volume of hymns, including Amazing Grace. So popular was his preaching that the church could not accommodate all those who flocked to hear him. Newton began to deeply regret his involvement in the slave trade after he became rector of St. Mary Woolnoth in London in 1779. His advice was sought by many influential figures in Georgian society, among them the young MP William Wilberforce. Wilberforce was contemplating leaving politics for the ministry. Newton encouraged him to stay in Parliament and serve God where he was. Wilberforce took his advice and spent the rest of his life working towards the abolishment of slavery. In 1787, Newton wrote a tract supporting the campaign, thought upon the African slave trade, which was very influential. It graphically described the horrors of the slave trade and his role in it. He later joined William Wilberforce in the campaign for abolishment of the slave trade in February 1807, when the act to abolish the trade finally became law. John Newton, nearly blind and near death, rejoiced to hear the wonderful news. Amazing Grace, a poem by John Newton, expresses an atonement and its effect on one man than any other. It has become one of the most well-known hymns of all time. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found, was blind, but now I see. In evil long I took delight, on all my shame or fear, till a new object met my sight, and stopped my wild career. I saw one hanging on a tree, in agonies and blood, who fixed his laggard eyes on me, as near his cross I stood. Sure, never till my latest breath can I forget that look. It seemed to charge me with his death, though not a word he spoke. My conscience owned and felt the guilt, and plunged me in despair. I saw my sins his blood had shed, and helped to nail him there. At last I knew not what I did, but all my tears were vain. Where could my trembling soul be hid? For I, the Lord, had slain. A second look he gave, which said, I freely for all forgave. This blood is for thy ransom paid. I die, that thou mayest live. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieve. How precious did that grace appear, the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. This grace hath brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. The Lord has promised good to me, his word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Yes, when this flesh and heart shall fail, and mortal life should cease, I should possess within the veil a life of joy and peace. The earth should soon dissolve like snow, the sun forbear to shine, but God, who called me here below, shall be forever mine. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've known less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. And then, when we first begun, This been Thunderhead Pictures! You've been caught in the storm! And by the way, that repeating of then we first begun is not really... You're not supposed to repeat that song, part because it's not in the original poem. But I wanted to, because it's verse 13. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've known less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. I will say again, this is Thunderhead Pictures. You've been caught in the storm. Woohoo! We've done episode 10.
Ever wonder why luxury hotel mattresses are so dreamy? It's because those hybrid mattresses combine both comfort and support to make you feel like you're sleeping on a cloud. With Dream Cloud, you can get a luxury mattress made with premium materials at half the price of traditional hybrid mattresses. Dream Cloud combines the perfect blend of comfy memory foam and supportive springs. Comfortable sleep is about more than just the mattress you sleep on. And that's why every Dream Cloud also comes with $399 in accessories. Plus, get $200 off, a 365-night home trial, free shipping and returns, and a forever warranty. Go to dreamcloudsleep.com today.